on the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
Fantasy Headliners Nation. Headliner Nation. Fantasy Headliners for the nation. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner.
Yo. Analytics off the chain. All the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner.
Yo! Welcome! Monday morning. I'm staying nice and toasty in the studio today. Hopefully everybody's doing well. This is the look of a man that is distraught over what we just went through yesterday. It is probably the worst week of fantasy football that we've seen since sometime last year. It was awful. It was awful this weekend. What up, Dennis Saucier? We're going to be fancy with it. Welcome to Hole and Chubb. Thanks for joining the exclusive Headliner Nation today. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We have a lot to talk about today. Let me just start by kind of going back to a couple of things that we have said, or I've said on this stream here, really since like week 3. Fantasy is getting harder and harder to be good at. Fantasy is getting easier and easier to be lucky at. I mean, we spent an entire week putting together stats, looking at matchups, looking at numbers, doing literally everything we can to try and put us in the best situation possible when Sundays come here. And then nothing goes as planned. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. There's a lot of different reasons for it. You know, teams are just getting better. Teams are getting better at game planning and putting their teams in a situation to be competitive, unless you're the Denver Broncos. But not only that, I think coaches just outsmart themselves sometimes. I mean, some of these guys are NFL head coaches for a reason, and I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I know more than an NFL head coach. But take, for instance, Washington yesterday and a couple of weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. This is now the second matchup in like 3 weeks where Washington had a really good matchup to run the football. And they were going up against a team that they could put into a negative game script. And they didn't run the football to start the game. It's the same thing they did against Chicago a couple of weeks ago. It's the same thing they did against New York. And instead of coming out and establishing the run and running the football with Bijan Robinson, they decided to come out and throw the football, even though they were going up against a team that has a really tough time of stopping the run. What did they do? They come out and they threw the opposite. They do the opposite. They try to throw it all over the place. And that's not who Sam Howell is. Sam Howell has some turnovers. The defense can't get a stop. Now they're in negative game script, and Bijan Robinson isn't used as much as we would like. They come out and they try to They come out and they just try to throw. Sam, Howell's the most set. What did you think was going to happen? I just told you that I was against them doing that. What do you mean? They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be throwing the football like that. They should be running the football. They should be running the football. And then Sam Howell is like an Alex Smith type quarterback. He should be taking care of the football. He should be playing a West Coast type of offense where we're taking high percentage throws over the middle of the field. Arnold from Master of None. That's a good one. Yeah, Lewis, using play action and establishing the game that way. And they're not doing it. They're trying to come out. They're trying to come out and be Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I even said it, if you guys have been watching like the videos, I've even said it over the last couple of weeks, I think mainly when talking about the tight ends, where for a couple of weeks stretch there, they started to get cute and they started to try to go to this pass-heavy offense, and they tried to just blow teams out, and it didn't work for them. So last week and a couple weeks ago, they went back to high percentage throws, getting rid of the football quickly, running the football, relying on Bijan Robinson, relying on Logan Thomas, Curtis Samuel, and Sam Howell did a lot better. And then they went right back to it yesterday. They went right back to a game plan that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Run the football. Let Bijan Robinson go downhill. West Coast type of offense where you utilize high percentage throws over the middle of the field to the outline of the field, some out routes, things of that nature. And then boom, 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 boom. So that's Bijan Robinson is good when Washington wants to give him the football. Bijan Robinson is not good when Washington doesn't want to play an offense that is best for them. The problem is Eric Bieniemy wants to try and run his offense the way he did in Kansas City, and you can't do that. You cannot do that. Yeah, it makes sense about Josh Jacobs. Nico brings up a good point. Josh Jacobs playing the Chicago Bears. They get down by quite a bit. Chicago allows some of the most rushing yards. We'll talk about Bijan, but if I go over Bijan right now, I'll get so upset that I won't have enough energy left for the rest of the stream. So we're going to save him for right now. When you take a look at Josh Jacobs is going up against a Chicago Bears team that put him in a negative game script and has one of the worst defenses in stopping the pass against running backs, and he's not utilized. I don't know what Brian Hoyer is thinking out there. I don't know if it's Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels is definitely one of those head coaches that is a much better offensive coordinator and just outsmarts himself. So, yeah, Josh Jacobs was super disappointing yesterday. I've seen Austin Eckler's name come up a couple of times. I'm not really sure why we're saying, why are we disappointed in Austin Eckler? He had a huge week 1, and then he's been injured. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not 100% still at this point in time. And I put him at RB6 this week, and I got completely blasted in the comments for it. And he still probably shouldn't have been that high. So are we upset with him? No. We're not upset with Austin Eckler. Did you get upset with Austin Eckler last year over the first 3 weeks of the season and give up on him? And then he still ended up being the RB1 the rest of the year? I mean, let's just take a look yesterday. Let's take a look at who finished highest yesterday. I mean, really, overall, the running back situation yesterday sucked. Dennis is exactly right. Still out-touched Josh Kelly, and he's not even 100%. So this past week, Dante Foreman was the RB1, which I'm a little confused right now because I got to look at something real quick because there's been a couple of people that have made comments that have made me say, what? And let me explain why in just a second. So in my running back video, I had Roschon Johnson listed at RB21. And I had Dante Foreman as one of the first 8 out. And I mentioned during the rankings video, if Roschon Johnson does not play, Dante Foreman would take his spot at RB21 and would even possibly go higher. Which means I had Dante Foreman inside the top 20 this week. And people are saying, oh, I sat Dante Foreman. Why were we sitting Dante Foreman in a good matchup with no Roschon Johnson and I had him inside the top 20? Why were we sitting him is my question. I even had someone say, you told me to start KJ Osborne over Dante Foreman. And I was like, no. No, I did not. I would have never told anybody that. Now, Anonymous Pizza, if you're sitting him for Bijan Robinson, that would make sense. But then who did you start in your flex? Like Dante Foreman was a guy that should have been a flex play for us yesterday. So I don't know why Dante Foreman was on a lot of people's bench. Now, if you had 3 top 10 or 3 top 15 running backs, then maybe that makes sense. But no. He should have played yesterday. It wasn't even that he asked for advice and then got upset about it. It's that he said I tried to tell him to start KJ Osborne over Dante Foreman. And I'm like, I never would have said that. I don't know where that came. Because I even asked Jake. I was like, would we have told somebody to do this? And Jake was like, no. Like, he was like, I don't ever remember you saying that. So I don't know. That was weird. But anyway, when it goes back, like, Dante Foreman was well inside my starts yesterday for sure. Somebody said something about Jerome Ford. I saw the comment at the very beginning. The reason I said that I was going to get crap this week about Jerome Ford was because, like, obviously y'all know I'm not a huge Jerome Ford truther. And I knew for a fact that people were probably going to come back and say, oh, hey, you got it wrong with Jerome Ford. Look, I told you, but I still had Jerome Ford as a start this week. But if you're members and you watch the members only videos that I did on Jerome Ford this week and talked about him, I was right. Because Jerome Ford, here, let me tell you real quick. I have to figure out the numbers again. Jerome Ford also is healthy. Jerome Ford is also not healthy now, right? I don't know what's going on. Apparently he's going for an MRI. So yesterday, Jerome Ford snapped off that huge run. Kyle, my underdog picks really weren't trash. I think we still finished over 50%, and we're still around 70% over the last 3 weeks. So maybe you lost some, which sucks. Sorry to hear you lost some money yesterday, but really mine weren't that bad. But appreciate it. Thanks for watching today. Where is it? So, real quick, you're welcome. Glad you started, Josh Downs. So Jerome Ford broke off a 69-yard touchdown run, right? He broke off a 69-yard touchdown run. Jerome Ford on one carry, 69 yards. And then the rest of the day, he had 10 carries. Hold on a second. The rest of the day, he had 10 carries for 5 yards. He had 10 carries for 5 yards the rest of the day after a 69-yard touchdown run. He's exactly what I said he was. He has bad vision. He's not great in terms of his ability to hit a hole quickly, but when you open up a hole for him, he'll hit it fast and he will give you a good game. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. Exactly what we saw yesterday. Oh, Jake in the chat. I'm not going to ban Kyle D right now. I'm not going to ban him right now. It's fine. He's angry. It's okay. He can be angry. I didn't say over. I said around 50%. Jimmy 2 times. There are people upset in the chat today. Clown take on Ford, even though I'm right. Apparently he hurt his ankle, but we haven't heard anything on the MRI yet. The wounds are still fresh. They are. They are. I bet. Ford's other 10 carries totaled 5 yards. Paul won this weekend. W man, absolutely. Can we talk Ridley? Oh, JD Stewart won some money on my pick'ems. And people in Discord did as well. So, can we talk Calvin Ridley? Calvin Ridley is really... Did I mention this maybe in the live stream yesterday? Do y'all remember a couple of weeks ago? It was on Monday. It was on this show. It was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago that I compared Calvin Ridley to Tyler Lockett. And the way Tyler Lockett was a few years ago, right before DK Metcalf, where it was like he would have, like Tyler Lockett would have huge weeks and he would win you those weeks. And then all of a sudden he would have awful weeks and he would lose you weeks, right? Remember when I said that about Calvin Ridley and that dude in the chat lost it with me and told me how wrong I was? That's what it is. That's what he is. He's a big play threat. They brought him in to stretch the field, which is a good thing for their offense in real life football, but every once in a while, it just doesn't work out for fantasy. It just doesn't work out for fantasy. Now, does it mean we should give up on Calvin Ridley? Probably not. Because I know he's going to have some big weeks down the stretch. Okay? But Christian Kirk is the guy. Right? The guy disliked and he left. Jimmy 2 times. Jimmy 2 times is emotionally distraught. But that's my take on Calvin Ridley. It is what it is. It is what it is. He's going to have some big games. Christian Kirk is still the dude. I think one of the biggest things about Calvin Ridley that's kind of hurting him right now is that Evan Ingram still has such a large role, which is one area that I definitely missed on. I thought if anybody was going to lose targets, it would... I'm getting a weird phone call. I heard hello twice, and then they hung up. But yeah, it's Blake. What does get the papers mean? It's Kyle D. It's Kyle D. And what was the other guy's name? Jimmy 2 times. It's Kyle D. and Jimmy 2 times. Yeah, Evan Ingram was one that I kind of missed on because I thought Evan Ingram might lose a few snaps or a few targets to go Calvin Ridley's way, but Evan Ingram is just killing it. Evan Ingram's just killing it. It's from Goodfellas. I've never seen Goodfellas. It's a small character. That's probably why he chose that as his YouTube name, because he's a small man. Everyone with Big Tasty. I love it. Should this be Big Tasty's new outfit? I've never seen Goodfellas. Sorry. J Field, should we sell high on James Cook? No. Because James Cook is what we've believed that he was going to be. He's pretty consistent. I definitely don't want to. I definitely do not want to sell him, though. I definitely do not want to sell him. I will definitely go over Bijan, but I can't right now. Like I said, if I go over Bijan right now, I'm going to get too frustrated. I'll be out of breath, and I won't be able to finish this stream. Blake, I love you. Should we sell Romandre? You can try, Daniel, but I don't know if you're going to get much for him right now. I don't understand the usage of Romandre. I don't. They don't use him until the last minute, it feels like. At the end of the game, all of a sudden they throw him in. Are we doing, what are we doing with Jamal, or not Jamal Williams, Jalen Waddle? I saw Jamal Williams as I was reading Jalen Waddle. Are we doing with Jalen Waddle? I mean, I'm keeping him. Like they're Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, again, I don't know what some of these coaches think, man. I'm so confused with them. So confused with them. Jalen Waddle, I'm not going to do anything with. I'm going to hold him for right now. He's missing some of the upside that he had last year, but last night was a little bit tougher on the road in Philadelphia. You could definitely see it. They'll get back on it, though, and Waddle will be fine. Biggest thing with Waddle is he got banged up to begin the year, so. Yeah, we did talk about Josh Jacobs. Oh, wait, Jalen Waddle missed half the game? How did I miss that? I didn't even realize that. Okay. So, I mean, Jalen Waddle's been banged up a lot this week then. Okay. See, what's his name? What you meme? I told you he was going to be there. That's two people now to come in and say something about Jerome Ford. And the problem is I was right about him this week in terms of him having a decent game, but I was also right in the fact that the dude still sucks a majority of the time. It's a win-win. It's a win-win this week. It's a win-win this week. It's so funny. I love it. Forehead kisses for Goff and the Lions. They're going to need more than forehead kisses. Peyton Klein still hating on Jerome Ford. At this point, I feel like there's probably a group out there of Jerome Ford truthers that have like a Facebook page. If you go to Facebook, you probably find like a Jerome Ford truthers page. And I'm going to assume that one of these guys in here right now is like the leader of it. There's probably like 15 people in it. Most of them are guys. Okay, I'll stop there before I get too rude. But their whole goal is just to try and find everybody that says one bad thing about Jerome Ford. He's the admin. Ford gave you a decent game. Look, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about Jerome Ford truthers is that the problem with Jerome Ford truthers is that they don't excel at reading because they can only read box scores. Peyton Klein says, still want to go down this road, buddy? How about it, pal? Why not, Chief? Let's go, bro. He did have a good run. Absolutely, he had a good run. We're having fun this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having fun. We had a little caffeine this morning. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling super good today. Swag Rich outside today. Should I just wear this all day long to go get the kids from school, to the grocery store? I got to get a new battery for my wife's car at some point today. A Ford with no gas pedal? Village Cards. Standing ovation. Standing ovation. That was excellent. That was excellent. That was an excellent pun right there. I love it. A Ford with no gas pedal. Woo! Woo! Raymond, Taysom Hill will be in today's waiver wire video, and I absolutely have changed my stance on him, and you'll hear why. That was great. That was great. I don't know. Hey, Village, I don't know, though. Those Jerome Ford truthers that are in the chat right now, they would probably take a Ford with no gas pedal because they can't even afford a car, so. Ah! It's been a while since Swag Rich found himself on the fantasy headliners, and today we went with it. We're back, baby. Big Tasty's feeling it this morning, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. You can't choose violence with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Costco of violence. I'm handing out body bags in bulk, baby. I'll put you down. Woo! We haven't talked about Henderson already. Let's do it right now. I can't read. I'm reading the chat right now. This is so good. I'm just reading the chat right now. I can't even go on and talk about anyone because I have to read the chat. Oh man. Okay. So people are going to come back to this later. And they're going to be like, what happened today? Let's talk about, let's talk about Henderson. During the live show yesterday, we brought up Henderson. We brought up Henderson, and we went through... basically, it was like, hey, Kyle, what do you think about Henderson? And my call was probably a 50-50 split, but Henderson leads the backfield this week. And I thought Zach Evans would get more than Royce Freeman. So I was wrong there, but definitely did have the Henderson probably leads the backfield call. He did better than I anticipated, but if you've been around for a while, you know that I'm a big Darrell Henderson fan. I really wish they would have used him differently his first stint with the Rams instead of waiting. But yeah, I like Darrell Henderson. I think he's definitely the guy to own. He'll be in the waiver wire video today. We definitely want to try and get him. So yeah, that's my take on Darrell Henderson for sure. Aaron Jones, I'd still just limited for the most part. He'll end up being fine. We got to wait probably a week or two for him to really get back to 100%. and be feeling a lot better. Chad, I haven't had any protein waters today. I'm actually out of my protein. I got to go get more. I don't have any. You know, Josh Downs is kind of funny. There was some spots where I did tell some people to play him, and I did tell some people to sit him as well. But the funny thing is I ended up calling that during the Odds Jam live stream, because one of the lines that we looked at was the under on Josh Downs, right? Who was here yesterday when we talked about it? Because when we went through Josh Downs yesterday, all of the lines were under on Josh Downs except for Underdog and a few others. So we followed the data, right? But I said I don't love this one because it would take one play to blow the over. And look what happened. Look what happened. Some protein to you right now, Chad. I won't give you my address, but we'll meet up. Maybe like a back alley gas station or something like that. Keontae Ingram was not a start for me this week. I understand why people did start him, though. And I get it. I understand why you would have put him in your lineup, and that sucks if you got a donut from him. Yeah, Joe, that's a good point, Chad. We can meet behind the dumpster at Costco when I go for my weekly body bag run. Crypto Trucking, celebrating 4 months of a membership here with the headliners. Would you trade Debo for Boyd in a full PPR? We gain Boyd. No, I'll keep Debo for right now. Crispy Crunchy Chicken from gas stations? Might find a Ford back there. Dude, listen. We are having fun today. We are having fun today. We are having fun today. I saw a couple of people are like, can we please move on from Jerome Ford? How can we not laugh about this? How can we not have fun? Come on. Come on. Luis, yep. Jacoby Meyer should be started every week, for sure. Thoughts on JSN performance? JSN is good with no DK Metcalf, but if DK Metcalf comes back next week, no. And JSN was my RB1 in the draft, or RB1, wide receiver 1 in the draft this year. So I love him. I just don't love him being the third wide receiver right now. Suarez, Inspired Republic, becoming a member of Holden Chubb. Thanks so much, Suarez, for joining the exclusive Headliner Nation. We have talked about Aaron Jones. We have talked about Austin Eckler. We have talked about Jerome Ford. Oh my gosh. Chris says, I would like to move on from Ford, but he broke down and it's a long walk. Oh, man. DeBear Bobo, I mean, he had a really nice catch, but even when, like, the three wide receivers are healthy, Metcalf, JSN, and Lockett, Bobo's not seeing nearly as many snaps as what JSN is. He's only playing in 4 wide receiver sets, so we can't trust him. Is Kareem Hunt an automatic start moving forward? We have to wait and see about Jerome Ford's injury, and I will talk about that in the waiver wire video. Yes, he's probably an automatic start for us now, but again, we have to figure out what's going on with Jerome Ford. And now Ryan is upset with me as well. Says his opinions and can't handle when he gets called out is wrong. Don't I always, Headliner Nation, am I not always the first one to admit when I'm wrong? When do I ever take... It depends on how you handle it. If you're a real jerk about it, then yeah, I might push back a little bit. But I'm the first person to admit when I'm wrong about something. I admitted earlier when I was wrong about Bijan Robinson again this week and explained why I was wrong about Bijan Robinson. Christian Kirk an automatic start? If it's Christian Kirk. Ryan broke down in his Ford. No, we've talked about some wide receivers too. What other wide receivers? Jake Ferguson, I talk about in the stream or in the waiver wire video. I've got some concerns. Ambiguity, that's a question we've gotten a lot this year, is why don't we do like the percentages that we did last year? And it was because we just haven't found a good way, because we used to do the percentages, but we would get knocked for like the top 12 players that you're always starting. And it's like, should we really have to take a miss on the wide receiver one, Justin Jefferson? Of course we're starting Justin Jefferson. He has a bad game. He gets under 10 points. Do we really take like a L for that? And at the same instance too, like if we say not to start a guy that is bottom of the totem pole and he goes off, it's like nobody was starting him. Should we have to? So going back, so we decided like this year, like we do it in this video now. Like I talk about hits and misses. I haven't gotten there yet in this video. We'll talk about it here in a minute, but I haven't gotten there yet in this video. But we talk about our hits and misses still all week, all the time. Let's actually do this. Let's talk about hits and misses right now. And then we'll come back with, and talk about the end of, we'll talk about Bijan at the end. Who was it that made the comment ago about me not being able to take criticism? Ryan Cox. Ryan, if you are still in the chat, I would like to be grown-ups about this. If you're still in the chat, could you please explain to me maybe a time where you got a response from me that you didn't appreciate? Or what is it that led you to believe this information? I'll take the feedback and we'll try to figure it out. Let's figure it out. I'm always willing to have a chat with anyone that wants to try and clown me. It's fine. I'll figure out why. I don't want to miss Ryan's response if he's still here, but Ghost, I haven't yelled at anybody this year. All right, let's talk about hits and misses. Ozil, honestly, we'll handle it however we want to. Whatever is good for us. Sometimes it's good. I don't think you guys understand that. I think that's one thing that we get a lot of is, Kyle, just don't worry about the haters. No, sometimes it's soothing to just be like, yeah, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. If we just ignored every comment and we just stored all that energy up inside, that's too much negative energy stored up inside. You can't ignore everybody. Sometimes you do have to address it, which is fine. That's what I just did. I had Kenneth Walker at number 1 this week. Good game. Scored a touchdown. Or no, he didn't. Did he score a touchdown yesterday? Or did he just have over 100 yards? Because now I feel like I'm forgetting. No, he did not have a touchdown. So he had over 100 yards. Brady for life. Brady for life. Since you're hating too, why don't you also tell me? What is it? What is it that's the issue? And I'd be more than willing to address it with you today. You guys can't see it because it was held for review. But he wants to know why I'm so overdramatic, to get a hold of myself, quit crying like a little girl, and that I don't know shit about football. So again, Brady, I would more than willing to address that with you. Josh Jacobs had a bad day. Obviously, he wasn't that high up, which is very weird. Barkley scored a touchdown. I had him at number 3. Missed on Bijan Robinson because of everything that happened in that game. That was a miss too. DeAndre Swift didn't have an awful game, but didn't have a good game either. Austin Eckler was a miss. Isaiah Pacheco was a miss. Travis Etienne at 8 had a good day. Bijan Robinson was at 9. He was a miss. Raheem Mostert was a miss. But that's just kind of how running backs were yesterday, right? That's kind of how running backs were yesterday. Kenneth Walker had over 100 yards, but not really anything else. Josh Jacobs didn't have a great day. Barkley had a good day. Robinson didn't have a great day. Swift didn't have a great day. Eckler didn't have a great day. Pacheco didn't have a great day. Bijan Robinson didn't have a great day. Oh, Pacheco scored a touchdown. He did. He had that receiving touchdown. That's a hit. I'll take that. Raheem Mostert didn't have a great day. Kamara had a good day. Aaron Jones didn't have a good day. James Cook had a good day. Stevenson didn't have a good day. Javonte Williams had okay. Christian McCaffrey goes tonight. Hunt and Ford. Ford I ended up bumping all the way up to RB15, but Hunt and Ford both were hits. A.J. Dillon didn't have a great day. Jonathan Taylor I had at 20. Should have gone a little bit higher with him, but at least I called the fact that he would take over the backfield this week. Jahmyr Gibbs was at 22 later in the week. I could have gone higher with him. Alexander Madison has not played yet. Rachaad White was at 24. He didn't have a good day. Zach Moss was okay, I guess, in the very limited role he had. Like basically splitting touches on the ground with Jonathan Taylor, but wasn't as good. Najee Harris I had at 27. Jaylen Warren I had right behind him, although later in the week I did change it and bump Warren up a little bit. Warren scored a touchdown. And then Dante Foreman again, who I had at the first day out. I said if Roschon Johnson's out, he bumps all the way up to 21, and he would go higher than that. So running back wise, I mean, yeah, I didn't have a great week, but running backs in general did not have a great week either. I felt like I had some good calls. Unfortunately, the guys up at the top just didn't play well. Just didn't play well. It was one of those weeks. It was not a great week for running backs in general, unfortunately. No, he took over. Here, I can tell you. Hold on a second. Give me a second here, and I'll get you snap counts. Yeah, I'm not going to move. I'm not just going to automatically move Dante Foreman up super high. Just next week, we'll go through it and then we'll go from there. I'm looking for Indianapolis right now. So yeah, so they were 50-50 in terms of snaps, but Jonathan Taylor ran more routes and he had more targets. So when I say he took over the backfield, that's what I mean. So snaps, yes, 50-50. But in terms of workload and potential, it was Jonathan Taylor. His Foreman moved up the depth chart. It depends on how the next couple of weeks go with no Khalil Herbert. Ethan, you can try to message me in Discord since you're a member, or on Twitter if you need to. And I'll keep an eye out for it. Tight ends wise, Travis Kelce was at 1. He smashed. Mark Andrews was at 2. He smashed. Dallas Goedert was at 3. He had a good game. George Kittle, we'll see tonight. TJ Hawkinson. What exactly did TJ Hawkinson do? Because now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, wait, he plays tonight too. That was stupid. That's why I didn't see it. Sam Laporta, okay game. Evan Ingram, okay game. They were at 6 and 7. Luke Musgrave. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking when I said that about TJ Hawkinson. Darren Waller, I had at 10. Should have had him a little bit higher, but I still had him top 12. Pitts and Jonnu Smith got off to a good start and then kind of disappeared later in the game. Gerald Everett, I had at 13 and is a potential start this week. He scored a touchdown. Higbee, Cole Kmet didn't do anything. Logan Thomas didn't do anything. Michael Mayer didn't do anything. David Njoku didn't do anything. Taysom Hill, I don't rank as a tight end because he doesn't do tight end things. But I will talk about that. I'll talk about that later in the waiver wire video and discuss a little bit more why moving forward I'm changing my mind. And we'll kind of go from there. Hunter Henry I had outside. Zach Ertz I had outside. Trey McBride. Dalton Kincaid I didn't have ranked because I didn't really know exactly how things were going to look this week with him. Definitely should have had him inside the top 12 as well. So as far as running backs go, not a great week. Had some good calls. Missed on some guys as well. Tight ends, I felt like I had a really good week at tight end. I felt like I smashed it at tight end this week. In fact, let me see one thing here real quick. I had Travis Kelce as my tight end 1. He was the tight end 1 this week. I had Mark Andrews as my tight end 2. He was the tight end 2. I had Darren Waller at tight end 10. He finished tight end 3. I had Dallas Goedert at tight end 3. He finished at tight end 4. I had Gerald Everett at 13. He finished at 7. I had Sam Laporta at... What I have Sam Laporta at? 6. He finished at 8. Evan Ingram, I had it like 6. He finished at 12. But this tells you how bad tight ends were again this week. Mike Gesicki had 2 catches for like 8 yards and 1 touchdown, and he finished as the tight end 10 this week. So... Ethan, since you're a member, Jake just posted the directions to it. All you have to do is go into your Discord settings, go into connections, and then you'll add YouTube as a connection to your Discord. You'll log into YouTube, and that will automatically add you to our server. Ambiguity. Yeah, when I do my rankings, I typically take a look at who do I think is going to have the highest ceiling for the week. Who is going to score the most points? Normally what I do when I talk about any position in my start and sit videos, I talk about them in a manner of like safety and risk, and whether or not I feel like risk outweighs reward or the other way around. And then in the rankings, I go with, okay, a player might be super risky for me this week, but I know he has an upside, so this is where I'm going to rank him. Typically, that is how I will rank my players for any given week. Okay. Let's talk about Bijan Robinson. I have a huge issue with what happened with Bijan Robinson yesterday, not from a fantasy perspective, but from a football ethics perspective. Okay? My issue is that it took until halftime for anybody to figure out what happened with Bijan Robinson. He was not out there to start the game and didn't have any touches in the first half. And everyone's just trying to figure out why. Well, all of a sudden a beat reporter comes out and says, well, Arthur Smith apparently said that because they used Bijan Robinson so much last week, they're not going to use him so much in the first drive this week because they don't want the defense to key on him, which doesn't make any sense because you should always play your best players. Why are you taking your best players off of the field? And then all of a sudden at the end of the game, it comes out where Bijan Robinson is like, well, I didn't really feel like myself. Started feeling sick like Saturday night. Woke up with a headache. Took some medicine. Haven't really been able to kick it. But teams are supposed to report that type of stuff in the name of competitive fairness. That's why in the past, the New England Patriots have been fined for not disclosing things on their injury report. And people have absolutely blown them up about it, about how it's not fair and things like that. And then all of a sudden yesterday, apparently we're finding out that Bijan Robinson is going through these issues where he might not play because apparently he wasn't feeling well. Why was that not reported by the Falcons? So, I mean, honestly, and here's the thing, if I'm in the same situation as Arthur Smith, I mean, he didn't play the first, but he did try throwing him out there. And that's kind of my thought is that is Bijan Robinson being thrown out there with one touch on the last drive to basically say, well, we tried to get him in there, but he wasn't feeling well. So we didn't really need to report it because he tried to go. I don't know. It feels very weird to me. It feels very weird to me. Yeah, if he's sick, if he is as sick as he says he is, if he is as sick as he says he is, then why is he even out there with the team? Like, if you don't plan on playing him, why is he out there with the team? Why do they not say, go back to the hotel? There's no sense in you being here, getting everybody sick. Go back to the locker room. Go back to the hotel. Go back wherever. Just go. That's why it's weird to me. That's why it's weird to me. It's very weird to me. And then I don't know about you guys, but there are plenty of players at the NFL level that are more than willing to run out there while they're sick. If he's feeling well enough to be up high-fiving people and celebrating with his team and doing all of this stuff, then why isn't he playing? If he feels well enough to go out for a snap, then why isn't he well enough to get some touches? I don't believe the sick story. I don't believe the sick story. I will tell you this. I also don't believe in Vegas fixing anything, and I don't believe in conspiracy theories. And if you believe in that, that's absolutely up to you, but there is nothing anybody can ever say that will get me to believe that Vegas has a say in what happens in the NFL. I will never believe it. I think he probably did something wrong. I think he probably put himself in a position where he was being probably given some sort of a punishment. No, Bijan said that he was not feeling well, too. And part of that was a headache. You can get headaches being sick and not have, like, other symptoms either. But, yeah, maybe he went and partied a little too much the night before. Maybe he showed up late. Right? Maybe he had a few drinks last night and, unfortunately, boom. Hey, maybe he showed up late. Maybe he didn't make the bus. Maybe... So yeah, that's my take on Bijan Robinson. I don't love it. I think the Atlanta Falcons were purposely trying to mislead people into whether or not he was playing. I am not a fan of Arthur Smith as a head coach. My biggest thing with Arthur Smith is he's so damn combative. Like, if you ask him anything in a press conference that goes against anything that he has said, he'll sit there and really try to use his words and his stature as a head coach to try and make you feel smaller and try to make you feel beneath him. Just watch his press conferences. That's exactly who he is. Doesn't his dad owns like an oil company or something like that? Arthur Smith gives off privileged rich kid vibes. That's what Arthur Smith does. And I don't want head coaches to care about he owns FedEx. That's why he owns FedEx. I forgot about that. Yep. Okay. He brings up, he gives off spoiled rich kid vibes. Like he was never punished as a kid, always given what he wanted. And if you disagree with him, he's going to use his stature and his level at the NFL level to make you feel smaller. I don't like Arthur Smith at all. I think Arthur Smith is a crappy human being, to be honest with you. I really do. I think he's that type of a person. But if it works for you and you're smart enough, then you're smart enough to coach. So, yeah. And I don't want NFL teams to care about my fantasy teams at all. But I want NFL teams to recognize the fact that fantasy football helps fund their platform. Constantino, who are you talking about? Are you talking about me? I talked about Ridley already. Yep. I mean, here's what happens with fantasy football. Fantasy football brings in people who don't typically watch. All right. Constantino was getting a timeout. I didn't ban anybody, but I'm going to put Constantino in timeout for a minute so he can think about it. He's been taking shots at me the entire time, so he can have a minute. So it's just one of those things where fantasy football helps push views and helps pushes sponsorships and brings in new people to watching football, and it brings in a new interest in football. And, you know, people who want to, it brings in, you know, people who are at work and Sports Center. Why is that? I'm giving everybody a chance. Anybody who hates on me in this video, I'm giving them a chance to explain to me why I'm so corny. I should stay in a cubicle and let Jake talk to the people. I can't take these Kyle videos. So tell me why. Tell me why. Let's talk about it. Brendan brings in gamblers like me. Right. Okay. Maybe Brendan pays attention to football, but Brendan is a guy that likes to gamble and he likes to play fantasy sports and he does stuff like this. So he's going to pay even more attention. You know who fantasy football brings in? It brings in people to buy NFL Red Zone because they want to see all of their fantasy players, right? Or the NFL Plus app or things like that. Those are the things that it brings in. Somebody just texted me and I have no idea who it is. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. That's what I'm getting people to talk. We're live, baby. We're talking with the community. We're having some fun today. I put on the glasses because Big Tasty came out. People were asking for him. Brendan, I got Red Zone because of fantasy and then literally cancel it in the offseason. Boom. DWZ, the people refer to me as Big Tasty. I can't change their minds now. Imagine paying for Red Zone. Why wouldn't you? Red Zone's amazing. I actually never had Red Zone prior to this year, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. SportsCenter, but why? I'm giving you the opportunity to voice your opinion. I'm opening it up to 779 people. I'm giving you an opportunity. You don't like me, tell me why. And maybe I am doing something that a lot of people don't like, and that's something I can change. I'm giving you an opportunity. Get it for free? Listen, I'm not in the business of getting things for free. If y'all want to go out there and use the VPNs and stuff, more than welcome to. Game day is trash compared to Red Zone. I don't pay for game day. I have not done that yet. I don't have YouTube TV, yeah. And now somebody else says I'm becoming too cocky. I don't think so. I don't think so. Cap for life. I'm acknowledging you. You have been acknowledged. James Herr, subscribing for the first month, celebrating 1 month with us. The NFL makes so much more money off fantasy. Maybe they should just have one buy for all the teams. I would love that, but they'll never do that because that's a week of no sponsorships. I know that they wouldn't do that. But I would love it. Anthony, my girlfriend didn't watch football until we invited her to the league this year. Now she talks about football at work. There we go. The Ravens kicked the Lions' butt yesterday. I was worried about that. I was worried about that. Is the hoodie velvet? No, the robe is, though. Best trade spot for Henry? I think he should stay where he's at. Canoeing, appreciate ya. Yeah, Ravens kicked the Lions' butt. Kevin, we appreciate it. No, because I got the AC on in here, Joe. Jace, I've been live for an hour and 11 minutes. I went through Calvin Ridley, Jerome Ford, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler. Who else have we talked about? We've talked about so many players. We went through hits and misses. Oh, I got to give Jake's hits and misses. We talked about Dante Foreman. We talked about Kareem Hunt. We talked about Bijan Robinson, Daryl Henderson. Luis! Gifted a membership to the Headliner Nation community. Luis, appreciate that. Who got it? Jacob Lopez got it. We talked about JSN. We talked about Kirk. We talked about Jonathan Taylor. We talked about Ramondre Stevenson already for a minute. We talked about Josh Jacobs. What do you want me to talk about with Puka Nacua? He's killing it. We talked about Bijan Robinson. I talked about Bobo already for a second. Ambiguity, waiver wire videos. If I may ask, why don't you show your priority for which players in fab range you would spend? It's because we do our videos to fit a wide range of people so everybody can use them. Fab money, fab budgets is not the same in every league. Some people use waivers, some people use fab. Not only that, but I don't know your roster. So if I tell you that, for instance, I talk about Gus Edwards. Okay. So let's say I talk about Gus Edwards and I just tell you, hey, for Gus Edwards, I would spend X amount of money in fab and I would use this waiver priority on him. But what if you don't need Gus Edwards? What if you need a wide receiver more? And if I say, oh, Gus Edwards would be my priority, and somebody listens to that and says, well, I'm just going to go get Gus Edwards because Kyle said get Gus Edwards, he's the priority. That doesn't fit their roster. Or maybe, I say Gus Edwards is a priority ad, but maybe given the matchup, he's not a great ad for this week, and you're looking for somebody to start this week and not hold for a longer time. And that's why that I do say that ambiguity. I do say, like, this guy would be a I do say, hey, this works out really well. This is a guy I would add if you're needing this guy. Like, I even say those things, but I don't just generalize, be like, boom, like this is what we would spend or anything like that. Because I don't think that does it justice. I don't think that does it justice, and I don't think it helps people in situations where they might need specific help. Zach Evans will be brought up today. Absolutely. We talked about Austin Eckler already. Let me give you Jake's hit and misses real quick. Slippers or socks? Socks. I can't wear slippers. They're too, like, they make my feet sweat. I don't like slippers. They're too hot. So I have a pair of, like, Hey Dudes I wear in the house because we have hardwood floors and I don't. All right. So Jake sent me his hit and misses. Let me give you those real quick. Hits for Jake, Lamar Jackson. People all week long were commenting how they were disappointed in Lamar because I keep ranking him so high. They just saw why. Jordan Love, even though more was expected against Denver, he still finished top 12 at the position. Mike Evans kept him well inside the top 20 despite a tough matchup against Atlanta, and he went 682-1. Puka Nacua kept him inside the top 15 despite the cup concerns, had 8 catches for 154 yards and could not be stopped. Rashee Rice said all week I had a feeling that this was going to be the game you wanted to start. Rashee Rice finished wide receiver 14 and had 5 catches for 60 yards and 1 touchdown. And then for misses, Gardner Minshew had the luck in week 7, capitalized of 2 free plays due to penalties and some bad Cleveland tackling in the secondary for a couple of huge plays. Mac Jones played the best game of the season against the Bills because you know that makes sense. Tua, the loss of Waddle for half the game really hurt the passing offense. Amari, Watson didn't look healthy to start the game. Cooper had 8 targets but only caught 2 of 22. Hollywood Brown led the team in targets, receptions, and they were trailing the entire game just as we wanted, still only had 3 for 19. Tyler Lockett with DK, with a hurt DK in a matchup against Arizona. Lockett seemed like a great play. Only had 5 targets for 4 catches, 38 yards, and was outproduced by Jake Bobo. WTF. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about 15, 20-ish players, something like that. We hung out for a while, talked about a lot of different things, had some fun. This video is going to be this video will be posted in a few minutes if you have things you want to go back and try and find. But these live streams are about hanging out with the community and chatting with you all. If you just want to sit and listen to me talk about players, then check out the recorded content. But these live videos, it's going to be me interacting with you all. Okay? I interacted with some good today, and you know what? I asked some people who were talking crap to interact back with me, and guess what? They didn't. I wonder why. But that's just how it is. And if you don't like me, I'm sorry. Not everybody will, and there's nothing that I can do about that. But you know what? I love all of you because you're here watching. And whether you watch me or you watch Jake or you watch both of us or you want Tater to come back because Tater is your favorite or whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't care. You're still watching the channel. Your support still means I get to do something that I love. So I really couldn't care if you like me or not. That's just how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate you being a part of the stream, being part of the community. To the members out there, thanks so much for supporting to help us do what we love and to give back to the community as much as possible. I'm going to get out of here, though. I'm going to go get the waiver wire video posted, and then we're going to get started on running backs. We'll bounce back this week. I love you all so much. Mwah. Forehead kisses. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Tasty is out. I'll see y'all in the next one.
On the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when